Florida Governor Ron DeSantis holds a press briefing on a new proposal for the state budget.
Marijuana governors, what are your thoughts on?
So, I think that you have one corporation that's pushing this.
What's up, Skittles?
People do not want these massive conglomerates to control the Constitution. And you know, one of the things that was an issue last time was this idea of can you grow your own? And their amendment did not provide for that. As I read this one, what they say is they don't give you that right. They say, well, the legislature is allowed to. But guess what will happen if this passes? Do you think they're going to lobby in favor of you growing your own or against? Of course, they're going to lobby against. And they have a lot of money to be able to try to influence the legislature as a result of that. Here's the thing. There's a lot of
Right off the bat, I love that it's immediately like, they got a lot of money. Unfortunately, they're going to be able to push legislation. They got money. This is the governor. The governor saying they've got money. They're going to influence it. They're going to, unfortunately, they got money. It's like, fuck. It's like, dude, he's literally just waiting, just lining it up so he could be like, yeah, you pay. And whatever side's got the most money, I'm in.
A lot of different perspectives on marijuana.
And why can I only hear this on the left side of my headphone?
It should not be in our Constitution.
Sup, Rob?
If you feel strongly about it, you have elections for the legislature, go back candidates that you believe will be able
But you're right, actually. He is keeping it real.
To deliver what your vision is on that. But when you put these things in the Constitution, and I think, the way they wrote, there's all kinds of things going on in here. I think it's going to have big time trouble getting through the Florida Supreme Court. And I honestly, as written, I don't think it will even be on the ballot. But the reality is the Constitution should really be for structure of government, limiting, empowering certain, I think, for example, limiting tax increases. If you want to empower something, there's a whole bunch of things you can use it for. But run-of-the-mill policy should not be. Now, I know it's been used for that over the years, but it does not end well. That's what California has done. They use these ballot initiatives, and they do all this policy there, and then they end up with a state that's basically ungovernable. So if you're going to amend the Constitution, make it so that saying, look at the U.S. Constitution, look at the things that have been added to the U.S. Constitution. Would they just add, could you have gone to James Madison in 1792 after the Bill of Rights is passed and said, Mr. Congressman Madison, would you do an amendment for pregnant pig care in the U.S. Of course, it would have been absurd that an issue like that would have been considered a constitutional. These are policy issues. Have the policy debate on it. And I can tell you there's a lot of folks that, may be a little bit more liberal on marijuana generally, but I think are rightfully skeptical of these big weed conglomerates and understanding what they're looking to do to be able to maximize their profits. Okay, guys, hopefully we'll have some news for you.
Fuck, I quite frankly, I don't disagree with what he said. I don't disagree. I'm not a fan of big weed getting involved. There's not really much here that I disagree with in regards to there's going to be a sway in policy. You can't just have a run-of-the-mill policy. It needs to include medical, it needs to include recreational, but most importantly, it has to include home growing. We cannot be subjects to a system that requires us to just keep giving into it. I can start my own farm. I can milk my own cows. I can start my own lettuce garden. I can pick my own apples off of a tree. If I really wanted, I could try to refine my own oil. I could try and create a vehicle that runs off of something else other than combustion fuel. I can try to create a sustainable energy so that I can power my home. But why, for some reason, when we start to talk about weed, I can't be self-sustainable? Why do I have to be reliant upon a system that just wants me to continue to be a cog in the wheel, just turning and giving into a system? So, yeah, I actually agree with what he said. Now, more needs to be done in regards to making it more accessible to people. But one thing, too, that I want to make very clear, because at the top of this says, and should not be in our Constitution. Here's something that I want to make very clear. Weed accessibility and your your liberty to choose your medication is already in the Constitution. As an American, you have the right to life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. In Canada, it's close. It's life, liberty, and security of person. These are the same rights that I'm afforded as a Canadian. But we'll compare the two most important. We have the right to life. Okay? We have the right to our own life. We have the right to our own existence. Therefore, I feel as if we have the right to make the choices as to what it is that we're going to do to either inhibit, increase, or pull back that life. In the same way that we also have access to liberty, I have the right to choose. I have the right to choose to whether or not I'm going to choose a medication, I'm going to try a drug, I'm going to try to do something other than what's being advertised. That's my liberty. It does not affect anybody else. Well, you might say, well, it affects the healthcare. So does tobacco. So does alcohol. So does driving vehicles. So does sugar. And so does excess sunlight. But yet, why is weed treated any different? Weed is accessible through our Constitution. Americans have the right to pursue happiness. Your pursuit of happiness might come through the pursuit of exploring a more desirable medication or hobby even. Right? So I do believe weed is in our Constitution already, and I think that's where it needs to stay. We have the right to life. We have the right to liberty to choose, and I think we should. We should. So, yeah, good story, though, man. I appreciate that. I'm going to clip it and ship it. We'll send that one to YouTube for sure. We're checking out Spider Farmer's newest 2024 G5000. This is a 480-watt dimmable, cost-effective, full-spectrum, high-yield commercial LED grow light, and is going to work great in a 4x4 space. Pushing 2.85 micromoles per joule, this is a fantastic grow light, even giving you smart app controls. So now, with your phone, you can set programmed schedules, adjust brightness levels, and communicate between your lights. In fact, you can even simulate sunrise and sunset from the app. The app is now usable with the upgraded SE and G series, allowing users to easily manage their lights via the app with their phone. Check out spider-farmer.com. Use promo code PIGEONS420. Save a few dollars off at checkout and help support the show. And a huge shout out to AC Infinity for sponsoring today's video. If you're looking for some high-tech quality equipment for your tent, check out ACinfinity.com. Whether it's their clip-on fans, the Gen 2s, their air circulation systems, or their lights, check them out at ACinfinity.com. Use promo code PIGEONS420. You're going to save a few dollars off at checkout. You're going to help support the show, and you're going to get yourself some quality equipment. Also, a huge shout out to Seedsman. If you're looking for some quality genetics from a quality place, check out Seedsman. Use promo code PIGEONS420. They're working with some of the best breeders in the game to hook you up with quality genetics. Check them out. Use promo code PIGEONS420 and thank them both for sponsoring today's video.